Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimale here in Abuja. Tonight, we will be speaking with the 14th Mayor of Kano. A lot of issues on the plate to be engaging. And of course, we'll be asking the Labour Party, the Abure-led Labour Party, the reasons for their protest to INEC headquarters, the allegations.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel, Telecast TV. I'm Miracle Angala. You are watching a conversation with the 14th Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, speaking on the legacy of General Murtala Mohammed. Secondly, end of the road for the Labour Party leadership issue. End of the road for Abure and Co. Endeavor to watch to the end. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, subscribe, like, comment, and share your thoughts. Don't miss trending videos.
Of exclusion and this enfranchisement of its members. So it's the Labour Party led by Julius Abure alongside a coalition of civil society organizations taking its grievances straight to the doorstep of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Their protest follows the shocking exclusion of the party's candidates from INEC's official portal for the upcoming Federal Capital Territory Area Council elections and the crucial by-elections to fill vacant National and State Assembly seats. The waving placards and chanting solidarity songs, the protesters accuse INEC of a deliberate attempt to disenfranchise their supporters, raising fresh concerns over electoral transparency and fairness and the credibility of Nigeria's democratic process.
The CSO's message is that opposition parties are disenfranchised. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That's what you're saying?
That's what we civil society is saying.
All right. That's the message I should take to the commission.
Thank you.
Labour Party, the message you want me to take to the commission is that the list of elected
candidates
by the Labour Party
under Abure
as the authentic chairman.
That's what.
okay, under
That's what
Abure
he said.
as the authentic
Because his name
chairman
is on your INEC portal.
should be
Uploaded.
Yes.
They can compete like every other
fine.
party.
So I've heard the message, and I believe I've heard the message correctly because you have reaffirmed what you said you have said. And I have assured Nigerians once more that we are independent and we will ensure that what the voter, the Nigerian, says is what obtains.
That's right.
That is an assurance.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's get more of the grievances of the Abure-led Labour Party. I'm being joined by the Deputy National Youth Leader of the Labour Party, member of the NEC, Dr. Abure Johnson, who is live for us here in Abuja studio. Thanks so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Yes, thank you for having me, Sean.
Why are you people angry when INEC does not recognize Abure as an... Is that not a clear indication of the fact that time is up for Abure and his supporters or his members? Or
I don't think so. I think there's something missing there. What is missing there is INEC's understanding of their role as a regulatory organization. INEC is supposed to conduct elections. INEC do not have any right to determine who is the chairman or the leadership of any party. Abure remains the national chairman of Labour Party based on the constitution of the party. So practically, we have seen in
against the Supreme Court judgment?
Of course, the Supreme Court judgment told the world in its citizen that the leadership of every political party should be the business of the party. So I want to ask you, who is the party? The members, the statutory members. So who are the statutory members of the Labour Party? The chairman and the secretary, who has the right to conduct or convey a convention or a NEC meeting.
Let me ask you, if the Abure-led members of the party, members who are loyal to Abure, names are missing on the portal for that election.
Yes.
So whose names are those that are there?
Nobody. INEC did not put a name.
So the Labour Party is not represented at all. Is that what you're saying?
That's what they're trying to do, and we already know.
Is that what is happening?
That is what is happening.
Because from what we understand, that the names as recognized is that of the Senator Nadu.
Never. It cannot happen. INEC is not as rusted as that. INEC is playing a game, and that game cannot score a goal.
So the question is this.
Yes.
Now, if you have a card that enters into this house, for example,
yes,
and tomorrow you get here and the card does not enter again, does it not mean one thing, that you are no longer wanted in the building?
If I'm no longer wanted in the building, my name should be struck out. Go right now.
That's why
the
you
portal.
have been deactivated.
Go right time when Abure submitted the names for the Anambra State governor. Whose name, governorship election, whose name was in the portal? Abure's name was there. That same thing happened in the Ondo State governorship election. Abure's name was there until Abure went to court. So now INEC is waiting. INEC is creating every opportunity for litigation. And it's wrong.
Did they tell you what exactly went wrong? Why the names of your
no
your
correspondence from INEC at all. All the letters submitted by the leadership of the Labour Party to INEC to host the primary elections, we have evidence of those letters received by INEC, and definitely INEC must do the needful. And that is one of the reasons why we have gone to INEC today to ask Mahmoud Yakubu not to play away from his constitutional duty of staying on the ball. Contesting elections is supposed to be the business of the party who is legally accepted.
You will imagine that the governorship candidate in Anambra State,
that's right,
Mr. Muhammadu of the Labour Party,
yes,
is given some level of recognition by INEC.
Why?
No, I'm asking you. So if INEC is giving recognition to Muhammadu,
yes, nominated candidates of Labour Party under the Abure team has not been uploaded.
Were you giving the login to upload?
If they don't give you the login, the names cannot be there. So that is what we're asking INEC to do.
You're saying that your names were not, is not seen on the portal.
Yes.
But you have to be given, because every political party's secretary is being, the communication from INEC to the secretary of the party.
That's right.
To send in the names of their candidate for every election. The question is, did that communication come to?
It has not come. And the party now went ahead to send letters with the names of those people, so like the way it used to be in the past.
So if it did not come
and the name did not come, and we were looking at the timing of the elections. That's why we took the step to go to INEC to remind Mahmoud Yakub to bring his heir to his duty. And we want to continue to say that if this INEC chairman wants to destroy the democracy of Nigeria, the president of Nigeria, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, must call him to action, must call Mahmoud Yakub the leadership of any political party by the influence of the Electoral Act. Those are the things we want to see. INEC should be focused on issues of conducting free and fair and accepted elections.
Is it not a case of you, first and foremost, going to your house to go and settle your scores?
Our house is settled.
Your house is in
Our house is settled.
There was a NEC meeting led by Governor Alex Oti, where Senator Nana Usman is being declared and elected as the party's leader ahead of a convention of the party.
But do you know that the Labour Party has a constitution that is not being followed? All those people trying to set up like the NEC pyramids are jokers. They are political jobbers. Nobody knows them. Nenadi Usman is not even a member of the Labour Party by the influence of her ward, where she says she comes from. So practically, how can PDP people or the ADC people come and want to take over a party that they have not grown to where it is today? Alex Oti is not a statutory member of the NEC. He's just a NEC member. And by the constitution of Labour Party, it is only a statutory member that can call for a NEC meeting. Who are the statutory members? The national chairman and the secretary. Did you see the national chairman and the secretary in the kangaroo meeting they held in the Transcorp Hilton? And they call it NEC? For us, it's illegal. And if we're in a country where everything is working well, the Inspector General of Police should have invited them, should have arrested them, tried them, should have prosecuted them and find them guilty and get them jailed.
Have you petitioned them to the police?
Of course, several times. They are impersonators. Nenadi remains an impersonative element in the issue of the Labour Party.
Other day, in the 2023 election, Mr. Peter Obi was obviously absent from that meeting.
Yes.
Don't you think signal to something?
It's, well, you see, Sean, most
Maybe a vote of no confidence
no,
on
no.
Abure
Let me tell you something.
or the signal that he is seeing where the legal pendulum is swinging.
Sean, let me tell you something about the Labour Party. Labour Party has a constitution that is beautiful. It's not like the APC or the PDP that has the leader of the party will be the strongest person who contested the strongest election. In Labour Party, the leader of the party remains the national chairman and the national secretary. Peter Obi, as an individual, remains a former presidential candidate of the Labour Party. And Peter Obi has told the world that he's still a member of the Labour Party, but he's not a presidential candidate. So a former presidential candidate has no influence on the direction of the party.
He said he's a member of the Labour Party, but he didn't say which of the leadership of the Labour Party he supports.
Yeah, you know, when people are interested in political prostitution, that's the kind of language they use because they want to dribble you and score the goal by themselves. They are the goalkeepers, they are the attackers, defenders, and they want to score the goal.
Are you calling Peter Obi the political prostitute now?
Of course, if you look at it, how can you be a member of the Labour Party and you are still in love with the ADC for 2027? In the Constitution of Nigeria, as a country, and the Electoral Act, it forbids it. You cannot belong to two political parties at the same time, and you cannot have sympathy for two political parties.
But you just said that he said he's a member of your party.
That's what I'm saying.
And the opposition are coming together.
Yes.
To form a coalition.
We are not like most people need to know this. The Labour Party won the 2023 elections, and we went to court and we lost by the influence of the the influence of the Supreme Court. And since then, we have allowed Ahmed Bola Tinubu focus on governance. Since then, we have allowed Ahmed Bola Tinubu focus on governance. We are focusing on governance now. When the time comes for politics, we can trash that. But for now, Peter Obi is an individual that has a right to prostitute or not prostitute. So if Peter Obi says he's a member of the Labour Party and he still wants to keep prostituting with other people he has accused in the past as dismantling of political criminality, that's his business as an individual.
But we saw the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party.
Yes.
In your meeting.
That's right. In the NEC meeting.
And he was appealing.
Yes.
To the sensibility of the Abure and his group that they for the sake of peace, they should allow peace to reign.
Let me tell you one thing that the media did not really do on that NEC meeting. The man called Dati was in that meeting as a peacemaker. And he told the world that he's here to reconcile all the issues in the Labour Party because we are capable enough to win elections without having any coalition with anybody. The coalition that we have is the coalition of the Nigerian people with the Labour Party. So Dati was there because he has recognized the Abure team after going through the influence of trying to marry the issues in the Labour Party. And he found out that Abure's faction is correct, and he has come to endorse it. Because if he has not endorsed the Abure faction, he will not be there in our meetings. So practically, right now you can see that Dati himself, as someone who has the influence of political understanding, and someone who has sat back and said, this problem is too much, let's find a solution. He has now decided to be a bona fide member of the Labour Party, supporting the authentic Abure camp. In the constitution of the Labour Party, we don't have anything like stakeholders, and we don't have anything like interim chairman, interim acting chairman. All those things are political criminalities that the politics of Nigeria must stop.
The absence of an arm of the Labour Party in your meetings.
Yes.
The NLC and the TUC.
Yes.
They are the statutory arm of your party.
Yes.
But they were conspicuously absent at your own Abure-led meeting. But they were present at the Nenadi Usman-led meeting.
That action does not give them the legal standing to win any case in court. Because, like we said, like the Constitution says, the only one who can convey a NEC meeting is statutory principals in the capacity of the national chairman or the secretary. Did you see the national chairman and the secretary, Barrister Julius Abure and Umar Farouk Mohammed, Ibrahim there? You didn't see them there. Did you see members of the National Assembly there? You didn't see them. Did you see the member of the NWC there? You didn't see them. Let me tell people something they don't know about Nenadi Usman. Nenadi Usman is an impostor of the reality that must come to reality. I don't know how to say it, but it is something that the Nigerian people must see and reject. You cannot be a by force national chairman when the party has a constitution.
Let me ask you, are you not worried that the accusation that you are being sponsored by the APC, does it not bother you that you want to kill the Labour Party because of the monies that you are getting from the ruling party?
They say when you want to kill a dog, you give it a bad name. In the politics of Nigeria, the world knows it. We are very dirty. We say anything just to get somebody out of the way. If Julius Abure and the leadership of Labour Party has a swinging romance with the APC, we cannot be like this.
But the sound of your song and the rhythm of the beats and your dance looks towards the support of the party.
If Labour Party has an influence with the APC, why is INEC doing what they're doing? INEC is doing what they're doing because they have a pact. So you have not collected any money from APC? No, we don't have any pact with APC.
I'm talking about you.
Of course, never.
No
tie.
Meetings.
No tie. I don't need it. I'm a very straightforward, astute politician. I'm a political scientist by academics, and I should do the right thing to move Nigeria forward. The world saw me in the 2023 general elections when it was rigged. We protested on the street of Nigeria for 52 days. And we told Muhammadu Buhari to hand over Nigeria to an interim government.
So
but he didn't do that because...
What would you be doing should INEC fail or do not, to put the names of your members?
Yeah, well, you see, like we said, INEC does not have the monopoly of being crazy in carrying out issues of good governance, quality leadership, and the respect for the rule of law. Whether INEC likes it or not, they must do the needful. And the needful is to uplink names of people who are nominated candidates from our party, the Labour Party, to the INEC portal so that they can be able to contest like every other party, except the INEC is working for the APC, because APC is the ruling party, and we know that there will be romance with the APC and the Labour and the INEC. So if INEC wants to prove it that they don't have a romance with the ruling party, they have to uplink the FCT candidates and the by-election.
Why should it be the romance with the ruling party? Why not romance with Alex Oti?
Alex Oti and Nenadi has no local standing. They can't win anywhere in the world, even at The Hague, because the constitution of Labour Party is what directs the party. But you see, the APC is not excused from this allegation because the FCT belongs to Labour Party. Whether anybody likes it or not, we decide to say you get 10% or 25% and we get it done. We did it in 2023, we'll do it till Dan Kingdom come. FCT is a Labour Party city and we'll prove it to the world.
Even with a Wike as minister?
Wike is just one man. He cannot be here and be there at the same time. Wike is just one man who should be cautioned. when it comes to issues of allowing the votes of the people count. So he has his onions, let him do what he needs to do.
Because he has said that there are a lot of work that the federal government is doing for infrastructure and development in the FCT.
Yeah.
And he has said in his popular song, if I do for you, you do for me. So that the government has done for the people of the FCT, they need to reciprocate that. And you don't think that
what has the government of the APC done for Nigerians in the FCT? You've created hunger, starvation. Are you not seeing the one chance security all over the place? You can't settle down, be in a bus stop and get a cab and be free. One of the unsafe places in Nigeria remains the FCT. We all know that. Is that what the government has given to the people? Hungry faces all over the places. I think Nyesom Wike should just sit aside and watch the politics of the FCT push him away. Because you see, FCT is not Rivers. Labour Party is the master game changer of FCT. You can't beat the Labour Party here. Nobody is interested in collecting money to get voted for or to be voted or to cast their votes. Most people who live in the FCT are people who are schooled, people who understand what it means to provide good governance, quality leadership, and respect for the rule of law. Nyesom Wike should look at the issues of providing food on the table of the Nigerian people living in the FCT. FCT is not safe. All right? We don't want to see bridges without food in our stomach.
You drove here safely.
I drove here safely because I'm safe already.
But you said the FCT is not safe.
It's not safe. Now, when there's one chance all over the place, how is a federal capital city with one chance go to all the roads? We have traders selling things. By force, they'll wash your car on the hold-up. In the federal capital city, deaths all over the place. Go to Cairo and see the deaths. Go to near the Labour Party office, opposite, near the NUJ. Go see the deaths. See the FCT is in total darkness at night. Most of the solars are bad. There are no lights on the streets. And you tell me that the APC have done anything for the FCT? Let's not talk about the FCT, because if you give me the opportunity to talk about the FCC, I think Nyesom Wike will pass.
I think it's better for you guys to put your house in order.
We are in order, Sheung. We are in order. Any Nenadi, any OT, they are all impersonators.
All right. I'll vote to Barry Johnson, Deputy National Youth Leader of the Labour Party and a member of the NEC. Thanks so much indeed for coming tonight.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Well, we'll be speaking with the 14th Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II. We'll be having an exclusive conversation with the 14th Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II. But it's a reflection today. 50 years ago, on the 29th of July, 1975, General Murtala Muhammad stormed Nigeria's political stage with a promise of swift, uncompromising reform. In just 200 days, his bold anti-corruption purge dismissed over 10,000 public officials. He created 7 new states, initiated the relocation of the federal capital to Abuja, and declared to the world that Africa has come of age. Half a century later, Nigeria still wrestles with corruption, weak institutions, and public distrust. Issues Murtala fought to confront. Tonight, we'll revisit his legacy and ask, what lessons can today's Nigeria learn from Murtala's era? To unpack these questions and chart a path forward in our enduring fight against corruption and our institutional issues in Nigeria, we're being joined tonight by the 14th Emir of Kano, a former CBN governor and a prominent public intellectual, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, Muhammadu Sanusi II, the 14th Emir of Kano, who is live for us from the city of Kano. Your Royal Highness, thank you so much for joining us on China's television tonight.
Thank you.
I know and I've heard that you have a close personal relationship with General Murtala Muhammad, but on a day as 50 years ago, quite a long time indeed, that he was reckoned as one man who gave hope to Nigeria, although in khaki. But today,
well, thank you,
what do you remember fondly of that
Murtala
man?
Muhammad was my uncle. You know, my father was in the foreign service, and I grew up with my great uncle, Alhaji Inouawada, the Magajin Garin Kano, the late Magajin Garin Kano, who was also an uncle to General Murtala Muhammad. So we grew up as children knowing him as our uncle, Kao Murtala. And when in 1973, I came to Lagos to King's College, naturally, he was my guardian. So I did have a close personal relationship with him growing up literally in his house, spending every weekend from King's College, every midterm, some days of the holidays with the family. His children also came to Kano and stayed with us. Aisha and myself literally grew up in the same room in Kano. So I'm part of that family, and I was in King's College, and he was my guardian at the time that he was sadly assassinated by Dimka. I knew him to be a very kind man. It's interesting how you've got this image of a very strong, tough man outside, but he was quite gentle and quite humorous. And I'll just give you one interesting story. You know, growing up in Kano, our meals were always heavy meals. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner would have. In the night, would have tuwo. I mean, if you know what tuwo is, tuwo shinkafa or tuwo ndawa. So the first time I went to Lagos, to his house, on the first day after we had breakfast and then had lunch, at 6 p.m., we, the children, were brought to a table and were given 2 slices of bread and a cup of tea. And we had it. I thought this was like a starter. So after that, I sat down waiting to be called for dinner. The other children went to sleep. And he had gone out. He came out at 9 p.m. and saw me not in bed. I said, Lamido, what are you doing here? I said, I haven't had dinner. He screamed, called his wife, said, you haven't given my son dinner. She called the cook, and he said, we had eaten. He turned to me, he said, I said, they gave me tea and bread. He just burst out laughing, told them, look, this is a bushman from Kano. Please make eba for him. He's not used to, so that was the kind of person that he was. Started making dinner specifically for me because in Kano, I did not know about taking 2 slices of bread and a cup of tea and going to bed. And, he was quite nice in that way, gentle, loving, caring, and very generous. That much I remember, and we do miss him.
No, these members of and those perhaps those who followed the trajectory of your life journey would perhaps have thought that maybe that kind of man shaped your life in any way. Did he influence you? When he died, what part of his life influenced maybe your choice of career or your choice of lifestyle, and perhaps in any way did his life in any form influence your life there are a number of things. In any way?
First of all,
going forward as an adult?
When you grow up in the house of a head of state like Murtala Muhammad, in fact, he was then Federal Commissioner for Communications, then became head of state. One of the things it did for me, apart from the fact that, of course, from Kano, I grew up around the palace, is that you are not intimidated by people in power. Okay, so you're not afraid of telling someone the truth because he's a governor or he's a president or he's a head of state, because you grew up with the president, you grew up with the head of state, and you lived close to him. And people like General T.Y. Nkrumah used to come in the afternoon, come to the house, sit down with him. We used to see them. It was normal to be around powerful people, so you're not intimidated by that. That is one. The second thing is Murtala was an inspiration for his courage. He was an inspiration for his beliefs. You may agree with everything or not agree with some of the things that he stood for, but you can never doubt the fact that at any point in time he knew what he wanted and what he stood for, and you could not doubt his patriotism and his love for the country. Now, these are things that he impacted on all of those who were around him, and I'm sure you'd have heard this a lot from his friends, from his colleagues in the military, from members of the family. And finally, I had 6 months when he was head of state, where I was between him and my father. My father was in the Foreign Service, and Murtala was the one who appointed him Permanent Secretary, External Affairs, and he came back from being ambassador to China. And this was the time of the decolonization of Africa. So here I was as a young boy in King's College, and everything I was hearing was about the independence of Angola, the independence of Mozambique, the need to have an anti-apartheid movement, the need to free Africa from Portuguese colonization, free Africa from apartheid, Zimbabwe, which was then Rhodesia, and South Africa. And I grew up around those conversations. Imagine, so I was really living in the house where the speech of Nigeria must come of age was written. The people who wrote that speech, by the way, were people like Ambassador Olu Adeniji, Dr. Yusuf Bala Osman, and Dr. Patrick Wilmot. My father supervised the drafting of that speech. So this was a period in which my own life was shaped, my own worldview was shaped, my own attitude towards Africa, towards Nigeria was shaped, and he was a very big part of it.
Interesting. You were in secondary school, you were in King's College when he passed. And he had a very brief time as a leader of the country. And you were in school and you heard that he was assassinated. How did that scenario play out to you when you first heard the news? What were you doing in school at the moment? Were you at the cafeteria, or you were in a hostel, or you were in classroom? Where were you exactly when the news got to you?
And then everybody gathered around. They had on the radio, and they turned on the radio, and we heard the speech of Lieutenant Colonel Bukar Suka Dimka, as he was then called. And it was a big shock, not just to me, but to everyone. But the greatest pain of that period was that his own son, the late Zachary Mohammed, was also my junior in King's College. I was in Form 4. I believe he was in Form 2 at that time. So much as it was a great loss to me and a great pain, at that time my mind was more on my younger brother. And I know what happened was a few hours after the announcement, a car came with military people, his father's loyalists, and they took him away from school. It was a difficult period for us in King's College. First, we had Zachary, whose father was killed by Colonel Dimka, and then a few months later, or a few weeks after the court-martials, we had Mustafa Waya, son of Colonel Waya, whose father was also executed as a result of the coup. So for us, in school, we're brothers, we're friends. To see two military fathers pass away, one as a result of an assassination that was totally unjustified, another as a result of a court-martial, which some people also believe probably he should not have died, because the story is that he actually tried to warn the government when he found out about the coup plot. But you know the military rules, so it was a sad period. The loss of Murtala and then the loss of Waya, and then dealing with the two sons around. I think their pain was much deeper than anything we could feel. So we became more or less sharers in the pain and comforters for them.
So let's look at it. He has some legacies. 200 days in office, and you can look at several things that he did. And in the last 60 years or so, since independence, the time Murtala Muhammad spent in office is one that was regarded as one of the most decisive for any leader that's led this country. We look at issues relating to anti-corruption, civil service restructuring, creation of state, relocation of the federal capital, review of the third national development plan, the foreign policy, transition to civilian rule. He had all of these bold initiatives and plans, but he was assassinated, and he couldn't continue with all of that. But let me pick on the issue of anti-corruption. In 1975, Murtala dismissed over 10,000 public officials in a sweeping anti-corruption purge and enacted the Corrupt Practices Decree number 38. 50 years later, Nigeria ranks for 145th out of 180 on Transparency International's 2024 Corruption Perceptions Index. What lessons from his style do you think we could learn, glean on anti-corruption work and can still work in today's Nigeria?
I think what's failed
and what
in
do
this
you
country
think has
is
failed?
upbringing. The truth is many people that you have in public office today were simply not well brought up. You know, when I was in King's College in Form 1 and Form 2, we had a class called Civics. And civics was taught by the principal of King's College himself, RSG Agibukema. So from a very young age, you taught certain values. You taught the importance of honesty and integrity. You taught the importance of human rights. You know it's important to leave a good name. You know that when you go into public office, it's an opportunity to serve. You don't go into public office in order to make money. Now, many of the people that have assumed office since then simply did not have that upbringing. They did not have that training. And many people go into government for the wrong reasons. You do not go into government to make money. If you want to make money, you become a businessman. Aliko Dangote is the richest man in Africa. He has never been a commissioner or a governor or a minister. So I think the entire value system of the country has been eroded. We have been ruled by people who have no values, people who come from, they have no names behind them, and they have no desire to leave a name after them. These are people who define themselves by what they own, how many houses they have, how many private jets they have, how many billions they have in bank accounts, and they think that is something. It is not important to them that people look at them and they only see thieves. They see criminals. They see people who have taken away the Commonwealth. It is simply not important because for them, the values do not matter. So I think we need an entire regeneration of values. It is not about one person. The president or the governor or a minister cannot on his own change this country, but I mean, look at our religious leaders, how they've become. They've also, you know, they've become sycophants. They've become praise singers for money. Traditional rulers have lost it. You know, everybody seems to have jumped on this bandwagon where money seems to be an end in itself. And unfortunately, a society in which material wealth, no matter how you get it, is respected, is glorified, where people who are known to have stolen money get rewarded with ministerial appointments, with senatorial appointments, that society will continue to reproduce itself. We do not have any, we don't have a sense of disgust for people who hold public office and amass wealth. We reward them with appointments, with more public office and more opportunities to amass wealth. And this is what Nigeria has become. Could it have been addressed by one man? I don't think so. Can it be addressed by 100 men? I don't think so. I think as parents, as citizens, we are all responsible. As leaders, we are all responsible. We have to continue stressing the importance of values, the importance of a sense of what is important in life beyond material wealth. We are all going to die. No matter how much money you have, you will die and you'll be buried, and there's nothing. You'll take nothing with you. And people simply do not understand that. People in their 70s and 80s are still looking for money. I don't know what they're going to do with it. So that's really the problem.
So you look at it, there are ways that other countries of the world, like China, and perhaps I'm personally not suggesting whether or not Nigeria should go in the way of China in fighting corruption. But you have been in public life for a long time. You've been in private sector. You know that civil service is a major problem when it comes to aiding and abetting corruption in this country. There are those who say you can't steal money in government without the help of the civil servants. From your own experience, how best do you think we can tackle corruption head on, such that anyone who passes through the corridors of power or in civil service and public life will be scared to touch government money.
I think our civil service
the common
is
patrimony of this country.
Always given the rough end of the stick. At the end of the day, when you have so emasculated the civil service and placed the civil service under political control, politicians destroy the civil service. My father was a federal permanent secretary. At the time he was permanent secretary, the permanent secretaries were more powerful than the ministers. They were the chief accounting officers, and they had complete independence. Okay, so I'll give an example, even with General Murtala Mohammed. People talk about 10,000 civil servants being purged. Do you know that not a single civil servant in the Ministry of External Affairs was removed? And simply because when my father was told to bring a list of people who were to go, he said he had nobody. And they gave him a list of people, and he checked their files. They had done nothing wrong. He said, under the civil service rules, I cannot retire them, and I cannot tell them to go. And at one time when he was called and said, look, every ministry has brought names of people who were to go. You also need to bring names. He said, if you force me to bring names, I'll be number one on that list. I mean, if you look at the biography of Ambassador Olushanu, it is there. My father simply said, nobody in my ministry has done anything wrong, and nobody will go. And nothing happened to him. Okay, civil servants, okay, had that protection. If Murtala Mohammed sacked civil servants, it was because the permanent secretaries at that time decided not to abide by the civil service rules. And so it's not the leadership per se, but those who were supposed to say no. I've always said there is something fundamentally wrong with a public officer who does the wrong thing and says he was ordered to. I was governor of the central bank. If anybody called me to say do something wrong, I had a responsibility to say, no, sir, this is against the law. This is not how it is done. And no leader, if you face him and tell him, would tell you go and do it. Nobody would write that he's directing you to disobey the law. So the civil service will have to remain the backbone for the regeneration of this country's values. And the best way to do this is to protect civil servants. How many permanent secretaries can say no to the minister? How many permanent secretaries can say no to the president without being fired, without being removed, without being persecuted? And therefore, people have come to believe that the only way they can keep their jobs is to watch. So if the political leadership sends a signal, and I've seen this, even at the central bank, I had staff, okay, the most wonderful, most intelligent staff in the country, as far as I'm concerned. Now, if you set a direction, they will do exactly what you want them to do, because they're not going to risk their jobs and their careers, okay, standing on principle when they know that they are not going to be protected by the system. Even if they were to be fired unjustly, it will take them decades to get justice, even in the courts. They don't trust the institutions. So we need to go back to strengthening the civil service, to supporting the civil service, to empowering civil servants, and teaching them that they can say no if they are asked to break a rule, and nothing will happen to them. Now, that is really the crux of the matter.
Closing moment. Let me take you to where you love to talk about and where you are passionate. And perhaps that's how we're going to anchor. And it's about the economy. We know that the man that we're talking about in focus, Murtala Mohammed, was he made some economic decisions. And you look at it, when Murtala Mohammed was in power in 1975, Nigeria's oil boom was rising. Population was about 60 million. And governance challenges were primarily civil service inefficiency. Today, we have over 200 million citizens at 33% inflation rate and deep poverty in our land. If you look at it critically and truthfully tonight, Your Royal Highness, where do you think we should go? What are the right steps to ensure that the people and the poorest of the poor are given some kind of succor and our economy can bounce back? What do you think we should be doing today?
Well, I mean, look, I'm known to have spoken for a long time on the economy and to have warned over a decade ago that this is where we're headed. I don't think anyone who studied economics is surprised that Nigeria is where it is today. We spent decades pursuing policies that were destined to bankrupt the economy. We refused to listen. Every argument, every rational argument against the path that we're following was met with resistance. Those who controlled the narrative were the beneficiaries of this system of rent-seeking. And therefore, anyone who was seen as a threat to that system was a target. Okay, I have faced a lot of persecution for my views, so I'm not surprised as where we are. If you go back to Murtala Muhammad ideologically was a bourgeois nationalist. He was not socialist. He was not a communist. He was a bourgeois nationalist. To the extent that he pursued policies that did not really confront capitalism, but tried to ensure that the capital in the country was transferred to the hands of Nigerians. It was part of his anti-colonial struggle. So when you look at the indigenization decrees, when you look at opening up the economy to Nigerians, the idea was to create a Nigerian capitalist class that would take over from imperialism. And I think this was his major ideological shift from a neo-colonial system to a bourgeois nationalist system. Yes, Sean.
We're totally out of time, but it's a pleasure, a very great one, speaking with you and reminiscing on the memories and the times and legacies of Murtala Muhammad, a man that you had a personal relationship with. Thank you so much indeed, Your Highness Muhammadu Sanusi II, the 14th Emir of Kano. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you very much.
Thank you.